Once again, the cryptocurrency market seems to be going to zero. Everybody calling the end of the bull run, but there are some very interesting things going on that I think you guys need to be aware of, let alone a key support that just lost at around 93,000. But there is some big manipulation going on, and I come with receipts when we talk about manipulation on this channel. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date with everything going on in this crazy cryptocurrency market. With that being said, let's get into the video. So we'll come back and talk specifically about the charts, but I want to just give you a flavor of what I want to talk about. Bitcoin down right now at 3.75%. Look at Solana down at 15%, XRP 10%. We're seeing huge market dumps in line with Bitcoin crashing as well. So I guess the question is, what's going on? Are we seeing just everyone's decided that the market's over? We've had such positive news today. It is almost insane that we are seeing this big market correction. So what are the experts saying? Well, BTC price analysis, Bitcoin hovering around 93. We know that subsequently is now broke with a boosted valuation around 1.86 trillion in the last 24 hours. 35 billion is the trading volume, and the key levels we're looking at 93,607, which we know has now broke. We'll be looking at that lower level in just a minute. So what does it look like? Well, slipping below 93 may invite a descent towards 91,000. So don't be surprised if we do come down a little bit further. We may even see a $90,000 retest, which will be a key psychological level for many traders and investors. And you know, a $90,000 Bitcoin right now, albeit still is a strong move, 21,000 over our previous all-time high, would be very dangerous in the market. And I think a lot of nervousness will come in from retail, from institutions, and much more. It would be a real catalyst. Now, when you take a look back at 2021's bull market, we actually corrected 31% before our ascent up to the all-time high. So this isn't out of the ordinary. This is kind of the norm, I guess, to be a degree, but it doesn't feel like it. Something is a little bit crazy. Something feels slightly off. When you take a look at the total number of liquidations coming in, $749 million here on longs, and 24 hours, $820 million have been liquidated from leveraged positions, whether that be Bitcoin, Ethereum. And when you start to look at some of these numbers, they are pretty wild. For example, coming in right now, you've got things like a $5.6 million liquidation on Bitcoin going on a long, as well as much more. You can see here, look, 2.7 million, 5.6 million, all of which are long positions being liquidated. Now, if you had a big amount of money and you could create a drastic drop in price, would you take it if it meant that your bag got increased? Well, interestingly enough, today, and I've been covering this on my live stream as well as on my Twitter, so make sure you're following both of those, link in the description. But we've seen Binance, along with many others, Coinbase are no exception, dumping huge amounts of both Solana and Ethereum. So here, Binance keeps selling huge amounts of Ethereum and Solana through market maker Wintermute. Big market makers are selling to liquidate the longs. You can see here, these are huge sells of Solana over a prolonged period of time. Some of the biggest ones being around 5 million. What's even crazier than that is more than recently, we actually saw some repositioning of USDT, USDC, in my opinion, ready to buy the dip. Now, if you all put your tinfoil hats on with me a second and hear me out, Bybit need to, well, get some funds back. They need to spend a little bit of money. We know they've been spending 300 million, but at a 27.11 priced Ethereum, that's a chunk of change. Well, imagine right now they can buy Ethereum at 2,500. What does that feel like? When you're talking about $1 billion, all of a sudden this feels like a substantial discount. Why would Binance happily send them 50,000 Ethereum? Get.io send them. Everyone was praising the markets. Hey, it's brilliant. The crypto community comes together and supports Bybit. All of a sudden, a massive capitulation on the backdrop of some very positive news. Cynthia Lumins talking on Tuesday about the new Bitcoin and, more importantly, the cryptocurrency kind of conference. We've got some more bullish news coming out of loads of states in the US. Only 3 have rejected a Bitcoin reserve. So you could argue that it's a very deliberate market push, and many of the people feel like they align to me as well. You can see here, the data from CoinGlass liquidations have piled up in cryptocurrency futures markets in the last 24 hours, with large amounts of liquidations occurring at once. Well, imagine how you would do that. You'd have to dump the price aggressively with a big sell of a particular asset. The event, more popularly known as a squeeze. The chance of a squeeze taking place came down to 2 factors. The first, a natural volatility, larger swing in price would mean a wider span of contracts get pushed into the red. The other factor is leverage. Low amount of derivatives market traders can opt to take against their initial collateral. And that's what we've seen. These are, it's the playground of big exchanges, big whales. They love to liquidate people. And more importantly, therefore, you can see where the market comes. Now, this could be just a natural cycle. Is this the moment we then start to look to push to the upside? Is this where traders are going to go slightly more bullish on the longer term? Well, the reality is that doesn't feel like it. Everybody and their nan believes that we are going to see some further downside moves. And actually, if we were to see an upside move, then we would see some pretty strong liquidations going the other way. Now, remember, when the market you expect to go one way generally goes the other, we could see a pump coming over the course of the next couple of days. Now, I know that it feels pretty rough out there. Again, a 10% decline in Ethereum. Bear in mind, this is one of the biggest dumps of Ethereum since back here in early January. Likewise with Bitcoin. And in fact, on Solana, one of the biggest dumps we've had probably since early last year, which is kind of wild to think about. That is a pretty substantial dump. And look, not a lot of altcoins are safe. Checks, for example, 21%, Jasmy 13%, Pepe, Brett, meme coins getting demolished. Now, the question would be, and I'm sure you're asking yourself, is should I buy the dip? Is this a good time? Well, whenever you've got extreme volatility that we have right now, it's always better to let the dust settle before you make a decision. But especially when you've got people like Binance and Coinbase, in my opinion, driving market down, pushing market sentiment, creating some real concerns out there. I think it's better wait, see what happens. Tomorrow is a new day. In fact, we moved to some new prices in just 45 minutes here in the UK. So for me, I'm going to wait and see what happens. But it's a wild day in altcoins. But still remember this, 31% was what Bitcoin retraced before that pump to the all-time high. About 14% doesn't feel that bad at the minute. So we'll keep an eye on it. Tomorrow is another day. Well, it might start to get pretty interesting as to where people's positions are. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you in or are you out? Did you sell or you sat there in stablecoin? Like I always say, it's worth having a little bit on the side because you get opportunities like this in every bull market. And it's down to whether you can take advantage. So if you enjoyed the content, hit the like button. Also subscribe. We're here every day bringing you the latest and greatest in cryptocurrency. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.